all they want, but there's no denying the objective harm that it will cause. Independent, nonpartisan analysts have said instead of lowering costs for everyday people, House Republicans' big ugly bill raises costs on them. It will kick 16 million Americans off of their health insurance. It cuts food assistance programs like free school lunch. It takes a chainsaw to these popular programs to pay for tax breaks for the wealthiest few. This big ugly bill affirms everything voters already think about Republicans, that they don't work for the American people. They work for the billionaire class. It's clear that public support for the Republican agenda is cratering. Recent public polling shows that a majority of voters in House Republican battleground districts oppose the bill. They also revealed that most Americans agree the GOP tax scam will help the wealthy and hurt working families. These public surveys line up with the internal research we've done in partnership with our Senate colleagues, and it's what we presented to the caucus this morning. We found that just 25% of voters think the GOP tax scam will help them and their families. The same internal research showed that Republicans' massive cuts to popular programs are toxic with voters. We see there is clear argument that is incredibly persuasive to voters. Instead of lowering costs, Republicans are raising costs, cutting health care and food assistance to pay for billionaire tax giveaways. This vote is the defining contrast of the midterms. Remember, every single vulnerable House Republican voted for this disastrous piece of legislation. And since it passed by one vote, each one cast the deciding vote. Any one of them could have stood up to stop it, but instead they sided with the ultra-wealthy while costs are out of control and everyday Americans are struggling. With this vote, vulnerable House Republicans have already sealed their political fate, and it's one that they will come to regret next year when House Democrats retake the majority. Thank you. I'll turn back to you.
Thank you, Susan. Questions? Nick?
A little while up here, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, chair of the Black Caucus, said that the deployment of troops in LA could be an impeachable offense. Do you believe this is impeachable?
I've said before from this podium that House Democrats aren't focused on impeachment today. We're focused on holding the president and House Republicans accountable for their policies that attack the basic needs like health care and food assistance that their policies are leading with. There will be plenty of time when Susan DelBene guides us to the majority for us to exercise oversight, where we can ask some very difficult questions, the policies that this administration is doing currently. But right now, that isn't our focus. Andrew?
With regards to ICE more generally, beyond just what we're seeing in California, as an Appropriations Committee member, if Democrats retake the House in 2026, do you think that the appropriations process should be used to try to make some reforms at ICE based on what we've seen in the last few months?
But first, what we need to do is have an appropriations process that works. Right now, House Republicans are wrapped around the axle, bending over backwards, trying to do everything that Donald Trump wants. And so they're marking up bills that are incomplete. We're going to see that full committee markup start today, this afternoon. We just heard from Secretary Hegseth. And then 30 minutes later, we go and mark up the subcommittee bill on defense. And we'll have that in front of the full committee on Thursday. These bills are incomplete. But the second point I would say is the administration and Donald Trump have to follow the appropriations bills. Tom Cole said months ago that these were advisory. So which House Republican message are we going to get? Are appropriations bills law, or are they advisory and it's up to the administration and Article 2 to interpret? We don't know. We need to know that House Republicans believe in the appropriations process, and we will use that to make policy changes that are important with respect to funding government. That's how we've always done, and we've respected Democrats and Republicans have respected that process over the years. And when we were in control, we did make changes to appropriations bills that got to core policies that were important to us, and we'll do the same when we're in the majority next time. Ryan?
Thank you, Chairman. The USDA is expected to roll out an initiative to essentially prevent people on SNAP programs from using SNAP benefits to purchase sugary drinks. Is that something Democrats would support or oppose?
What we know is that these basic needs programs are under assault by Donald Trump and House Republicans. Their own reconciliation plan would cut hundreds of billions of dollars, over $200 billion, out of the Department of Agriculture in these food nutrition programs. We agree in healthy diets. We agree that there are choices that people can make that will both expand the money that is given to them and ensure healthier lives. What we also know is that these programs like Food Nutrition and WIC go to the neediest of Americans. They go to people who are just trying to buy, formula and food for their families. That is under attack with the House Republican reconciliation plan, and that's what we're focused on. There's plenty of opportunity for committees to work through what this looks like and what the definition of a sugary drink is, and that's a fair conversation for us to have, but let's not lose sight that these programs are under attack by Donald Trump and House Republicans.
Thank you. We've seen Democrats give some contradictory views on the LA riots. We have Senator John Fetterman, who has called them anarchy and true chaos. And we have Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who's denied that any violence has taken place. How would you characterize what we're seeing from these individuals in LA right now with Waymos lit on fire and stores looted and things of that nature?
Here's the reality. Local authorities have this under control. There are a couple square blocks where a police presence is needed. A police presence, not a military presence, a police presence might be needed. And that should be the focus of local law enforcement. What Donald Trump is doing is inflaming those tensions. But as the vice chair said, anyone who is lawless or loots or commits a crime should be punished. That is the House Democratic Caucus position. What we do believe is in peaceful protest and in people being able to exercise their ability to observe ICE agents carrying on their activity, as well as standing on a street corner and holding a sign and speaking out and speaking their mind. That is completely appropriate activity. And what Donald Trump is doing is inflaming that by sending in the Marines and by mobilizing the National Guard under dubious legal rationale, as the vice chair mentioned. But I would argue, listen to the LA members. I'm from Southern California. I'll defer to my colleague who represents LA County. But this is something that local law enforcement clearly has under control, and the images on TV keep showing the same burning car over and over. 99% of the city is moving on just as business as usual.
I'm glad you brought up the burning cars. So burning Waymo cars is despicable, and I urge that those folks be prosecuted who engage in that action. The National Guard could have done nothing about it because the unlawful orders they were given say they are to protect federal property, federal buildings, and federal personnel. That has nothing to do with Waymo cars. So even if they were right there at the scene, there was literally nothing they could have done without violating their orders. And let's say Marines at the scene. What would you want these Marines to do? Like shoot these people? It's ridiculous to have Marines there. This is a law enforcement activity that should be handled by state and local law enforcement, not the United States Marines. They are not trained to do this.
Questions?
So the